Okay, so we're talking about the probability of compound events. You've done some probability in Algebra 1. We're going to go a little bit farther with it. Just to review some of the basics here, probability of an event, we take the number of favorable outcomes, so what we're looking at, and dividing it by the number of possible outcomes. The possible outcomes are referred to as the sample space. So if we were talking about choosing from a deck of cards, we would list every single possible card. We could also talk about the probability of the complement of an event. So that's anything but or anything that's not a given event. So rolling a pair of dice, or one die, if we're talking about rolling a 5 or a 6, the complement would be rolling a 1, 2, 3, or 4. I could have just said rolling 1, 2, 3, or 4, but sometimes it's easier to phrase it as not a 5 or 6. The union of an event, or union of events. It's the probability of that two events, the probability of the union of two events will be the probability of event A or event B. So if we're talking about the union of drawing a heart or a king, we have 16 possible choices. We have 13 from the hearts, 14, 15, 16 altogether. We just count all of them. We don't double count the king of hearts here. The intersection would be when we are choosing both of them at the same time. So in this case, the probability of selecting a card that is a king and a heart, now we're only going to count the overlap area. So that's only 1 out of 52, much smaller probability. Two events can be mutually exclusive where they have no intersection. If you made a Venn diagram, the circles would not overlap. Here's a legitimate example. If I told you to draw a card that is an ace and a king, well, that card doesn't exist, so you have 0% chance of drawing that. And here's a more lighthearted example from the hit HBO show Game of Thrones. Independent events, similar to mutually exclusive, but there's some differences here. They don't influence each other. So my example is drawing a red 5 from a deck of cards. I could draw a card that's red and not a 5, and I can draw a 5 that is not red. But I could also draw one that is both 5 and red. So that's the probability of compound events. That's some of our basic vocab. This brings me to some of my favorite math humor, fun Venn diagrams. It's been a while since we've used Pandora, but this one's kind of funny. We have the Venn diagram for flowers, eggs, and milk. Pancakes in the middle. And then I'll leave you with this one, baseball bat being the best thing that you can have on hand.